I think because of the unrest in the Middle East, we're all getting just a little bit more familiar with the globe than we used to be. And I found out yesterday there really is a place called Bum Egypt. And the only way to get there is to go up Creek. And the Ayatollah of Iran died today. And they're desperately looking for the next Ayatollah. And I suggested they pick that guy they kicked out of the Oak Ridge Boys. Ayatollah Papa Mau Mau. Come on, Paul. So I had the weirdest things happen to me. I was at a party the other day, and I was talking to a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a couple of years, and a guy walks up to us, right, that he knows that I don't know. And while we're having this conversation, he stops and introduces me to this fella, and I'm not paying attention, which I'm usually not. And I go to shake the guy's hand, and while I'm shaking his hand, I realize it's not really a hand. It's got two little pieces of something here with like a web between it, and then nothing right there, and then a little stump and a web back there. It's a flipper. No offense if you have a flipper. But if you do, don't you feel some obligation to warn somebody? Especially if you know they're not paying attention, you know? I mean anything, like, watch it, it's a flipper. Because I end up accidentally hurting the guy's feelings, you know? I'm like, oh yeah, nice to meet you. What is that, a flipper? And you feel bad. I'll touch his flipper. I just got to see it first. I got to get ready for the flipper. Can't be shocking me with the flipper there, buddy. I did a comedy club to warm up for a show in Atlanta not too long ago, and the comedy club's a little 250-seat comedy club, and that I'd been banned from for 10 years for bad behavior. And I didn't even argue when they did it either. That's how bad the behavior was. I was like, I get it. So I went back, and the audience didn't know I was going to be there. And when I walked on stage, I noticed that there was a big bachelorette party down front. Now, I've done a lot of shows in the last 19 years, and bachelorette parties are never good news, right? Because, and now I love women, don't get me wrong, and I especially love drunk women. I always have. But you cannot compete with a bachelorette party for attention because basically they don't need you. And they've got novelty items. They've usually got their own straws with them, and the top of the straw is shaped like a little penis. You know? They've got pacifiers, and the pacifiers are shaped like a little penis. You know? And as the night went on, they would laugh harder and harder, not at me, but at themselves, because apparently the drunker a woman gets, the funnier they find little tiny penises to be. Which might be why I like them so much. Well, this night I saw something I'd never seen before. These ladies had an 8-inch long chocolate penis on a stick, and it was wrapped in cellophane, and nobody was touching it. It was just sitting there in the middle of the table. And try as I might to ignore it, I could not. Because instinctively I knew that before the night was over, this big chocolate dick was going to hurt me. And I was right. It's a great show. I got about 5 minutes left, and for some reason, these ladies decided to get this thing out and start passing it back and forth to see how much of it they can get in their mouth at one time. Nobody's watching me anymore. Everybody's watching this dunk contest. And the thing that struck me as odd is that nobody was offended by it. All the women are looking at him going, oh, aren't they having fun? Don't you remember when Becky had her bachelorette party and how much fun we had? All the men are going, is this free? And it's a double standard, folks, because I guarantee you, if there were a group of men in this room right now that whipped out a little sack of gummy pussies, I don't know what that last noise was. Or however you do it, you know. I make a little racket. Cheers, folks. Somebody asked what I was drinking. If the company that made the stuff I was drinking was paying me, I'd have it in their bottle and not mine. But it is the kind of scotch that people drink that are going to die penniless. It's good, though. I had a great year last year. I got married last year to Barbara, my wife, a wonderful woman. And, Barbara was actually Jeff Foxworthy's interior designer when I met her. So not only was Jeff really responsible for my success in my career, but he also introduced me to the woman I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, which I think makes us even. Barbara's my age. I didn't marry a kid, you know. I married somebody that really stimulates me intellectually. Very smart girl, 2 degrees, great business head. Now, she's also very sexy. She's a beautiful woman. But if I could give advice to the planet, it would be don't marry for looks alone. Go in either way. And I'll tell you why. In a few years, if Barbara's boobs start to sag too much, there's a place you can go where they can just lift them right back up where they were, and they can move the nipple wherever they want them. You can actually go to a titty bar, pick out a set of titties, and say, I want those titties on that woman right there. If her belly gets too big and she doesn't want to work it off, you can go get a tummy tuck. They'll give you a belly that looks like a cheerleader. You know, if your eyes go bad, you can have LASIK surgery and they can give you 20/20 vision at any age. If your hearing starts to fail, they could put a device in your ear that'll make you able to hear as good as you could the day you were born. But let me tell you something, folks. You can't fix stupid. There's not a pill you can take. There's not a class you can go to. Stupid is forever.